Hi YouTube. I want to give the review of For Color Girls, which is really the original title is for Color Girls Who Consider Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough, written by Indashaki Shange. I finally got the name right on my last video. I didn't know the name at all. Displayed a lot of ignorance on knowing about it. I just knew about it from one of the actresses in my short film. She was actually casting a local play for Color Girls play, and she told me more about it. So that's the first time I really heard of it. And then when I went online and started looking, I started to see that this is a play that's been like a staple, not just in the black playhouses, theaters, that a lot of people from all walks of life, white, black, they know about this. Um, it's a collection of poems that Indashaki Shange wrote. They won a Tony. She won a Nobel Award, prestigious awards in the play circuit. It shows women of different colors performing on stage, and Jasmine Guy even directed a version of it, which was a stage play. And I saw the movie opening night. I think it's good to support Tyler on the first weekend. A movie like this normally would not get as much attention, but Tyler brings all the biggest stars into the game. This movie had Janet Jackson, who's I love her so much. Um, it had Tandy Newton. Um, let's see, Kimberly Elise, Whoopi Goldberg, Oscar winner. Um, let's see, Anika Noni Rose. Let's see if I can remember. It's almost like a game. Can you remember? Can you remember all the people that starred in this movie? Um, Basically, there's a lot more. Macy Gray. Macy Gray. I want to go over the good and the bad. I've heard mixed reviews of the film. I had to see it for myself. There's a lot of cynical people out there, especially when it comes to Tyler Perry. It's almost like it's easy to critique his movies and say you don't like them, but yet they go watch them. They actually watch them opening weekend. So it's funny that people have these views, cynical type of people. Um, I'm more objective person. I'm willing to look at both sides. I'm a screenwriter, so I critiqued it in a film way, knowing things that I see that might be a problem, that might not be a problem. I'm not in Tyler Perry's position, having all the money that he does and the power that he does, but I do have an opinion about it. Let's start off with just just the story. I'm not going to give anything away because it's important for you to see this film yourself, judge it for yourself. Um, let's see, the the storyline. The storyline was written by Tyler Perry, and Indashaki Shange's poetry was incorporated into the film through the various characters. You had Janet, who played Jo. She was very brash and harsh and very different from anything she's done. It's not the nice, sweet Janet that you're used to. It's almost like her mood and her attitude cut like a knife. Like you could feel it. The looks that she gave were so intense that it was it was really versatility. Her as an actress, she showed a vulnerability and a harshness in different scenes. Um, then you had Kimberly Elise. She goes through a lot. She's getting abused, and a lot of things happen to her, and she shows a lot of um, great emotion. She really performed the poetry really well. Um, you had Tangi Newton. She was very promiscuous for her reasons that I won't say. You'll have to see the movie, but she was very aggressive, and she was very, you know moody, and she was very in control of who she wanted to control. That's all I'll say. She was very good. Nika Noni Rose was sweet, and was she was basically a very heartbroken as well, in terms of what happens with her. She really showed a different side. You might have only seen her in Dreamgirls, so that was probably the first time you heard about her. She was the Frog Princess. I don't know if you knew that, but the first black animated Disney character. Um, I thought that gives her extra points, I guess. Um, she was really good. I enjoyed her. Loretta Devine, man, she brings this life, this love to any character she plays with her voice being so animated. She has a very brilliant acting skill. I mean, people don't give her credit for. I really think she deserves an Oscar nomination. And from seeing her performance, just seeing how frustrated and lonely she was, but seeing the comic relief at times, and not just a black woman attitude. She actually has levels. As an actress. Then we have Kim. Let's see. Did I go over Kimberly Elise? I think I did. We had Kerry Washington. Kerry Washington. Um, she was very weepy, without full blown tears. She was very weepy throughout. She was dealing with something that she actually had to hide. So she comes through with a lot of sincerity, very sentimental. It shows a lot of range for the characters, what they had to go through. Felicia Rashad, man, she was the mother of the film. She was the center of the film. Of all the characters, she was the center. She was the one that watched out and took care. You know, I can't say more than that. She was so good in this role. It's like you miss her as Mrs. Huxtable, but then when you see her develop, she's a stage actress. I mean, she's really dedicated to her craft of acting, and she really shows it. Um, she's the glue of the film. Then you have Whoopi Goldberg, Academy Award winner. She plays like a religious fanatic in this film. She's very she's very eccentric. That's the thing I can say. Very eccentric. Um, she's very she has love for her daughters, but she's very out there, very over the top in terms of just her belief system. Then we have Macy Gray. Macy Gray is she plays these crackhead types really well. I mean, if you've seen Training Day, I mean, she was good in that. I mean, really, she's getting slept on. Give her the creepiest, dirtiest, darkest part, and she knows how to reach in and nail it. And most people wouldn't want that kind of quality, but as an actress, it's almost like it's like a specialty, and for her to be able to do that and to give like that, it was really good. Um, now, I talked about the actresses a little bit. Um, I want to talk about the actual storyline. The storyline was very convenient. I would say everybody was somewhat linked together. I think the film lacked the emotional impact that it could have had, say, if Lee Daniels or just any seasoned director would have been able to capture on film. Um, I love Tyler Perry plays. I love a lot of his movies. A lot of people say they don't, but the box office numbers. I mean, he's at 500 million already in 5 years. So with many number one films, so everybody has their critics, but usually if he was not the one on top, people wouldn't be talking about him. But I'm still objective. I can see flaws, I can see certain things in storylines, see that he's trying to push it up. But what I do give him credit for is to be able to do a film like this at the level that he is. He's choosing to do a story that people, that brilliant piece of work that was about 35 years ago, that people need to see, that are still relatable right now. He didn't have to do that. He could be directing a box office a staple, if he wants to at this stage in his career, but he's choosing to give multicultural stories out there and put them out there because they're not represented fully. And since he has the power, he's able to do that. I do commend him for that. His storyline, a lot of storylines, it seemed like they're shocking. There are things that blacks don't talk about. There's things that blacks don't put emphasis on, but he has the power to make it come to pass on film. I would say that the storylines were that was Tyler. That was Tyler. You had a lot of Indashaki's poetry infused into that storyline. If it was me, I would have went the Chicago route. When they sing the songs, they go into the recesses of their mind and then they do the song in a full performance type of way. I thought it would be better had he did the poetry instead of weaving it into his actual words, because that can kind of confuse a lot of people. It would be better for him to set the words up that was about to be spoken, the poetry that was about to come out. That was a brilliant poetry. I mean, really, she is a great writer, Indashaki. But in terms of just weaving it in, it seemed out of place. I kind of agree with the reviews I've read. It seemed out of place. A lot of the poetry, some of the poetry was pulled off really excellently, but other times it was awkward and different. To be in a live scene and then jump back to Tyler's writing, it feels inconsistent, and it is inconsistent when you think of writing, and then you switch to a different writer in mid-writing. It turns into something new. I wish they would have just went into their mind, and it would have been like one of the plays of For Colored Girls Who Consider Suicide When a Rainbow Is Enough, that's been performed thousands of times on stage with their color, and then they saying their different their different poems, and then maybe have them meeting on stage and building more of a connection. Another thing about it seemed like the big pivotal points, either some were over the top, which is Tyler style, but other parts were not given enough emotion, enough time to cope with situations that occur throughout the film that were very kind of heart-wrenching. So I really think it's a missed opportunity in terms of the connection between the characters, because it's kind of hard to make poetry into a full film. So you obviously have to put story in it, but there's 1,000 ways to do it. But the way that Tyler chose to do it kind of leaves a lot to be desired. You want more from the characters. I wanted to know the characters more. A lot of the characters I felt were underdeveloped, although the acting was solid. I ain't gonna say nothing bad about the acting. The acting was solid. So Tyler did his part in casting very well. But when it came to just the connection that all the women needed to have, it was there in some instances, but as a whole, it was disconnected. It was a disconnected thing. I enjoyed it for seeing all of these beautiful black women together.